I think they did a good job controlling me in the pick and roll, controlling us in the pick and roll. I think we're better when we're getting stops. We weren't able to get stops, and that kept us out of transition and allowed them to set their defense. And kudos to them. They played a heck of a game. A lot of different guys contributed for them. So, they just outplayed us tonight.
They're huge all over the court. How does that make it harder for you guys to do what you want and get where you want to go?
I mean, they got length. But, we've seen them 2 times before this now. So it's not that we're not, prepared for or anything like that. They just, like I said, they had a good game, all around, their whole starting 5 guys. Getting Rubio back is big for their second unit. Having Wade back healthy, those 2 things help, that second unit as well. So, they just outplayed us tonight.
Myles, for you, their size is part of this, but they had 58 points in the paint. What kind of allowed them to get inside against you guys and get buckets?
Some of that accounts for transition buckets as well. I think they got out and ran on us a little bit. I think they also were able to, really get downhill in some of their pick and roll actions and whatnot. And we just, we got to be better with our principles and whatnot to not allow that to happen.
I also think you got 10 of the first 15 for you guys. I mean, just what allowed you just to get rolling offensively early?
Just an attack mindset. I think, whenever I see my opportunities, I try to be as aggressive as possible, just aggressive recognition, and, I was going early.
Ty, to go back to what you were saying, is there anything you saw that was different tonight, though? I mean, did they attack you, especially in the pick and roll, any different than they had? Because they obviously have been trying to control you every time they played you.
Yeah, I think they're just having less help from the weak side, trying to control it more 2-on-2, which they haven't done the past 2 games. So, there's a little bit of a different coverage, but I'll look through it in film and kind of start to figure it out. But they definitely mixed it up today, compared to the last 2 games.
Myles, your production's been on an uptick over the last couple of weeks or so. What do you attribute that directly to?
Well, it's a few things. I mean, I think it's just a testament to the film studies and to the work I put in on the floor. Another testament is the trust and belief that my teammates have in me. Putting me in good positions to be successful. And then I think I've just overall just been more aggressive. I just think that there are more and more opportunities for me to seize, and I'm just trying to get better as the season progresses. Especially going into this playoff push.
For either of you, Daniel's now played in 3 games. How have you seen him help you guys and kind of slot into a role?
Just a vet, man. Solid. He done been to the finals. He done been on some good teams, and he just brings that experience, to this roster.
Rough night, afternoon, into the night. Didn't play well. I told the guys after the game, this is all on me. I didn't do a good job at all preparing them for the kind of game that this was going to be and how we had to compete. So, I'm take all the heat for this loss. I got to do a better job of getting our guys ready. And, this is a tough time of the year with, being close to the All-Star break, close to the trade deadline. But we're professionals, and we got to rise above. And we got to do a lot better than we did tonight.
21 points in the second quarter for you guys, 19 in the fourth. What did you see that the Cavs did so well on defense that really slowed you guys down?
They're a top defensive team. They're top 5, I think. Pretty sure of that. We had some opportunities. At key times early, we had some uncharacteristically loose turnovers. In the first quarter, I really believe that's the most critical time of the game. We really got to be on point. We got to do everything possible to, stay even or win the quarter. We came out of it down 2. We could have been up a couple. And then the second quarter was really bad. And I haven't watched it yet. But I'm going to, and obviously, and we gotta fix some things, So, that's where we are. I mean, and I think I've said this before. I said, big problems like 20-point losses are solved in small increments. We've got to correct some little things, and a lot of that stuff will get better. But defensively, not good enough. They averaged 122 in the first 2 games, and they had 122 tonight. So, that's not good enough.
They have a lot of size on the interior on both ends, which can be tricky to deal with. How do you think that affected the way you guys played, and how do you kind of adjust to that?
Say what again?
They have a lot of size on the interior on both ends. How does that affect the way you guys play, and how do you kind of?
Yeah, we got to the interior. We're unable to finish in a lot of instances where we probably should have kicked out and respaced. It's got to be a lesson learned, you know. That's all. I mean, we had some really good looks early that didn't go down, and you know, instead of staying the course, you know, we got forcing things a little too much, and but I got to look at it to give you a better description of, you know, how the whole thing went. But look, they're a really good team, and you know, to have a chance to beat them, you know, you've got to be on point. You've got to rebound with them, which we didn't do well, and you know, you got to have ball security. And you know, we didn't have a ton of turnovers, but we had a lot of untimely ones that hurt us.
This may be on the list of things that you'd have to go back and see, but I mean, what did you see them do different against Tyrese in particular? How did they sort of keep him from being as effective, I guess, as he was, especially in the first two games?
Everybody is going to pay a lot of attention to Tyrese Haliburton. I mean, the guy's an all-star, you know, and people know the impact that he has on our team. So, you know, I've got to do a better job. Our coaching staff's got to do a better job of putting him in the right situations, you know. So, and look, we're going to see the same thing on Wednesday in Miami. I mean, he had 43 points last time we were there. So we're going to have to be ready, you know, for all kinds of things, you know, whether it's different kind of leveraging defenses, trapping. I mean, you name it. I mean, we're gonna see a lot of different stuff, and this is an opportunity for our team to grow, for Tyrese to grow, and us to get better.
Myles, I think, scored 10 of your first 15, ends up with 27 and 10. And what impressed you about just his performance all in all tonight? What, you know, made him such a go-to guy tonight?
He's just continued to be consistent. He's playing well. His reads are good. You know, I thought he gathered and went strong in a lot of instances tonight. He's doing that better and better. He banged in a couple threes when we needed them. You know, the thing with us is that we really need to be functioning very well as a group. You know, to beat the better teams. You know, that's just that's just a fact, and it starts with our defense. It starts with being real solid. I mean, I think they were 7 out of 10 on corner threes. We weren't rotating to the corner 3-point shooters, and that was a big problem.
On Myles being consistently good, have you noticed has there been anything specific that he's changed, or you've worked with him in terms of better starts and more uptick in his production? Or
Well, you know, for the last couple of years before this, he's really been the four-man and had the four-man guarding him a lot. So that means switching and mucky defenses and things like that. He's been at the 5. He's been doing. You've seen him rim run more. He had one early where he scored. You know, the 5-man guards him more consistently now, and that is opening up opportunities to both roll and pop. And so he's just, you know, he's becoming an experienced veteran player that understands reads. He's playing one of the best point guards on the planet. So those things have really enhanced his game. And I just see him getting better and better. The guy's only 26 years old, you know, and that's why it was a priority to get him signed back.
Is there anything more you can share on Chris Duarte not playing?
Before the game, he was in the weight room yesterday. And as you guys have noticed, when he takes off the left ankle, you know, a lot of times he'll come down and briefly, you know, kind of walk it off, and then he'll be okay after, you know, a time or two down the court. During his workout yesterday, which was an off day, it bothered him. He was hoping it wouldn't bother him today, but it bothered him before the game, and so he was unavailable. But I'm hoping, you know, we're hoping this is a short-term thing. He has been making steady, gradual progress, but you know, we found out before the game he was going to be unable to go. But to my knowledge, not a long-term thing, and hopefully a day-to-day thing.
I mean, in the half court, they're pretty good. Made us work for everything. Two big guys blocked shots, and they turned us over a bit and got out in transition and made us pay. That was a difficult one tonight for sure.
They tried to clog the game up the first 2 times too, and you guys basically didn't let them. I think you had 135 in the last time. Is there anything they did different or anything they tweaked, I guess, that allowed them to slow the pace down, or was it more actually what was happening on the other end? I mean, how were they able to play their game than they had in the first two?
I don't know. I feel like we did a good job in the first quarter. Held them under 30, and they broke it open. We've got a good group, but we've got to show better effort for 4 quarters, and that's so controllable for us. And kind of just hung our heads and felt sorry for ourselves, and we can't do that. Just got to move on. If you have a bad quarter, and try to get it back.
What's when you got to deal with Garland and Mitchell plus all that size? I mean, just how tough is that to defend in the half court?
Yeah, I mean that's why they're what are they, third in the East?
They're fifth, but still. Yeah.
Are they fifth? Oh, I thought they were third at one point.
They were.
Yeah.
Not now.
But they're good.
Yeah, I mean they're
that's
just
the point.
Those two are ridiculously good at getting downhill and forcing bigs to step up, and that's when they kind of drop it off, or they play that little high-low two-man game that they do pretty well. They were just rolling tonight.
111, 107. Now today even lower in the scoring department. What do you feel like has slowed you guys offensively recently?
We're just not getting. I don't think we're getting out and running as much as we used to. Makes or misses early on. I think we were getting it out and going, not letting a bucket affect us. On the defensive end, and we get out and go. We have to continue to do that and do a better job of that.